let's go out to the West Coast, the battle for the jeweled shillelagh. And I rushed
Ooh.
through that second word because I'm sure I mispronounced it. But USC and Notre Dame, USC number 6 going into this game in the college football playoff rankings, holds off number 15 Notre Dame 38-27. Just kind of more of the same for what USC has been able to do this year. They kind of kept the Irish at arm's length the entire game, really. They go up 17-7 right before the half, and the Irish never got back within single digits after that. The offense was efficient. Caleb Williams was 18 for 22 for 232 yards and a touchdown. So not gaudy numbers other than the completion percentage, but just got the job done. And the defense wasn't perfect. They definitely gave up some yards through the air when Notre Dame committed to throwing the ball, but they really made plays when they needed to. Like we talked about last week against UCLA, 2 takeaways, another turnover on downs, and they held Notre Dame to just 90 yards on the ground. So huge win for USC. This was a big test for them, and they passed it with flying colors in my mind.
Yeah, better job by their defense than I expected to think. Maybe not necessarily in the points scored department, but definitely, holding them to 90 rushing yards when that's what they wanted to do coming in. Have to go hats off to them. The offense was good. There wasn't really anything wrong with the offense. They didn't necessarily put them away, and I am a little bit concerned from the passing standpoint, right? Caleb Williams, like you said, solid, but definitely not special. I think if he wants to seal the playoff spot for the Trojans, they're going to have to be a lot better next week against Utah, of all teams, to make it to the Pac-12 championship after all that chaos went down. I still don't think he's had his Heisman moment, but I think he's the front runner by default. I think he's just kind of the guy who's been playing the best, and he's been a lot better. But, man, he goes up against a good defense like Notre Dame. Well, there's some better defenses out there, namely Georgia and Michigan right now are playing much better defense than Notre Dame is. What happens when they get in that position for a playoff? Heck, I mean, TCU plays pretty good opportune defense as well. So, what happens when they get in there and get the sack at the right moment, the interception at the right moment? So, I'm a little bit concerned from a passing standpoint, but they still were able to put up 38 points, right? I want to put this in context. They put up 38 points on a very good Notre Dame team, and they didn't put them away, but they definitely didn't have this game in any sort of question for the majority of the game. There wasn't really a question who's going to win this one. It was really fun for about 15 minutes, and then after that point, they just kind of run up the score a little bit and keep it at arm's length, like you were saying, and then that was pretty much the whole game. So I definitely think at this point that they should be the number 4 team, especially with Ohio State and with LSU dropping a game. But, I think that they should have been number 4 team for a little while now. But I think that they deserve to be at that spot. And I think that regardless of what happens next week, I still think they'll be a little bit more deserving just based on their resume than some of these other teams that we'll talk about. We'll save that for a future episode. But I was fairly impressed with their performance, though I would like to see a little bit more in the pass game.
Yeah, and I'll defend him just a little because 18 for 22 is, you're getting what you want.
No, definitely efficient, yeah.
So, if he was inaccurate in that and had taken, 18 for 36 or something like that, then I'd be a little bit more concerned. They were getting whatever they wanted on the ground. Their offensive line was moving guys left and right. And Caleb Williams, a third of his carries went for touchdowns as well. He was their goal line running back. So 3 touchdowns on the ground for him. So, yeah, I agree. He hasn't really had that Heisman moment yet, but I think I haven't checked the betting odds today, but I'm pretty sure he's your odds-on favorite to win the Heisman as long as he avoids disaster next week against Utah. So.
For sure. And I think we also need to give a lot of credit to this Trojan ground game. They're doing a really good job. I think their offensive line is a Joe Moore finalist or semifinalist. I don't know where we are at this point. They should win the award. I think he's first-year coach there, Josh Henson, doing a really good job with that Trojan offensive line. He had a pretty good unit at A&M before he had moved over. But doing a really good job and giving their running backs lots of opportunities to do what they want to. We talked about how obviously their prime back went out, but number 2 came in last week against UCLA. He did what he wanted to do as well. So really, really good job from that offensive line unit and from the running backs for getting what they need to on the ground. And hey, when Caleb Williams doesn't put up shining numbers all the time, you can still win games comfortably.
Yeah. True next man up mentality for that running back room. It's been really, really encouraging for USC fans, I'm sure.
Gracious him. How about